taking over, that's a promise, not a threat.
Uppercut season off top, you stop breathing.
Yeah, what's good, yo? Welcome to another episode of Real Talk, where as always, if shit's real, we talk about it. I'm your host for this afternoon, Pat Scorpio, the New England representative, and as always, I got my man with me. I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Yo, what it do, man? It's Shuttleworth the God, aka the GOAT artist, Soul Wars creator, aka Lauderdale Boss, LB, aka I told y'all.
Yeah, nigga, whatever, yo.
I told y'all. Who's getting the first upset of the year for boxing? Yes. Yeah, gang, ringgang.com, ringgangradio.com in the building.
Yes, sir. Ring Gang in the house.
Gang.
Ring Gang in the house forever and always. And as always, I got my other man with me. I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Hey, yo, what's good? You already know who this is. Your boy King P, Bodega Boxing in the building. Ring Gang Radio all day. Let's go.
Yes, sir. King People Bodega P, straight from the sewer, except, he's been above ground lately, just chilling, taking a little break from fighting crime and whatnot, taking care of all these reprobates that are out there, in New York and beyond, man, as usual. But as always, though, we do salute you for your service, man. We do. you do a great job, man. So, yeah, man, just as, LB has...
Shout out to Pilot. I'll just ad-libbing here,
Well, his flight is delayed right now, but shout out to him. He's in the clouds somewhere.
He is, you know what I'm saying? Someone tried to open the plane door on this flight, you know what I'm saying? So he got, he'll be all right. He'll be landing soon, Shout out to Conscious Pilot, But yeah, man, as LB so eloquently stated, there was some boxing on last night, you know what I'm saying? It was a really good card that most people, I think, were sleeping on. For a lot of different reasons, man. And, it was main evented by, one Gary Russell Jr. making his 6th title defense against
in 6 years.
Nigga, shut up. Versus, number one contender Mark Magsayo. However, there was 2 fights before that, too, that were also on point. The opener was supposed to be originally Tuxtogig Nyambia, aka King Tug, versus Vic Casillas, but unfortunately Vic caught COVID, and unfortunately COVID will probably be a thing in 2022. Some of these fighters either, they don't get the vaccine or they don't quarantine, one or the other. But in this particular case, it cost Vic a fight date. So because of that, we had to go for a substitute opponent, a substitute from Nambia. It seems like every single time like a Nambia fighter comes, it's always Nambia, home of such champions such as Julius Ndongo of 140 fame. Sakaria Lucas was his replacement, and they mentioned before that he flew like 20 something hours to come to America to get for his shot, and it was a good opener, man. But one thing about King Tug, though, and I think everyone could probably agree with me, I don't think King Tug is making the type of improvements he should be for the guy that, has his amateur background and the type of push that PBC is giving him.
Because when he had dude hurt, he was supposed to stop the fight and kind of be like have an impressive win to kind of call out the winner of the main event type shit, and that didn't happen.
Yeah, and one thing about King Tug that I think that annoys a lot of people is he gets into these he'll have a good his first couple of rounds he'll be on it throwing combinations and stuff like that, but once he gets into the mid rounds he gets into this weird lull and he allows his opponents to come back at him. Like in his last win, he nearly he won a split decision because of this. Prior to him losing to Chris Colbert, and this one was worse because it seemed like once he got into this lull, Lucas started lighting him up a little bit, a little bit too much, I should say.
Lucas was able to jab with him at times.
Yeah.
So it's like he was staying competitive just with the jab alone, and then when those lulls would happen, Lucas would just start lighting him up with the combinations, and King Tug, man.
Yeah, and I like Yeah, I like King Tug as a fighter though, but yeah, PBC might want to really take a good close look at him because yeah, he's not progressing the way he should be. He's a Olympian, silver medalist. Like Lucas, he turned up in this fight, and one thing that kind of made me angry because and this was something that caused a little controversy.
I already know.
But was Lucas seemingly hit dude with an overhand right, and then hit him with a good jab like that, rocked his whole shit and dropped him. But the referee, Eddie Claudio, said that was a slip. And
fuck that ref. And shout outs to Jim Gray. I know Jim Gray not perfect, and some of y'all don't like him or agree with certain shit he do, but there's been plenty of situations where Jim Gray would at least press these dudes and make them be accountable, and I'm glad he did that last night.
Yeah.
He really made the ref look like the bitch made dude he is, because he just couldn't fucking just admit he made a mistake. He had to just
he doubled down. He just all he did was just, I didn't see it. I didn't see it in real time. Basically, double down on it instead of just saying I fucked up, made a mistake.
I was having a conversation with somebody last night when that happened, and I was like, the justice system that's an example of the justice system in this country. You can have facts, everything, statistics, all that shit right there to show the judge or whoever, and they'll still be like, man, I interpret it this way. I didn't see it. What are you talking about? Like show me.
Like this nigga really was out there talking about he couldn't see the fucking jab that dropped him. Like he kept mentioning the right hand, and he's like, I don't see no jab. Where's the jab? Like,
and everybody sees it. The thing is, because King Tug was in the motion of falling down, but if you're already falling down or in the motion of falling down, if somebody hits you with another good solid shot, and
that's a knockdown.
That's a knockdown. Even if you fall down faster, it's still a knockdown.
Dude was wild and hard.
He was hurt from the previous blow, so it's not like they got tangled up or they were slipping, and you're like, okay,
Even if he got tangled up, it's still a knockdown. I'll never, because people like I've had arguments with people in instances where they'll say, well, it's not a knockdown. Like for example, when Triple G fought JD Jacobs, I heard somebody was like, well, he was just got foot caught, got tangled up, and I'm like, that's still a knockdown, nigga. It don't matter. He got hit while going down or losing his footing. It's a knockdown. Why are we arguing?
People tangle up their feet and they don't fall down.
Right.
So you mean to tell me if a nigga tangle up their feet and I punch you still and you fall down, that shouldn't be a knockdown? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, in this particular case, the feet was even tangled up. It was clear that King Tug, the right hand discombobulated this nigga, man, and then the jab, it was
just a perfect here, take that.
Yeah, exactly. And
it was a fight night round, a fight night champion knockdown. He was already hurt from the combo, and then it's he kept trying to clinch or whatever, and you caught him with a jab while he's falling. It was perfect.
Yeah, it was absolutely perfect, man. And then Claudio, even after multiple replays, doubled down. It was acting. He was looking honestly, if someone took a swing at him, I'd do a slow clap. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, the blown knockdown call was the deciding factor between a possible split decision win for Lucas and what was a split decision draw.
I had Lucas winning the fight anyway. The knockdown just made me even more. This guy got fucked over.
Yeah, I mean, and the funny thing too, the judges still all scored that round, that knockdown happening for Lucas. But yeah, like I said, if it was a 10-8 round, yeah, Lucas would have won.
End of the day, King Tug needed to look a lot better than what he did against dude.
Yeah, but and that's what I was mentioning earlier. King Tug, if you want him to be a contender or be some, or something, dude has this is the type of people he should be beating easily.
Maybe he's not a real contender. Maybe he's a fringe contender.
Yeah, losing to Gary Russell,
being a permanent fringe contender like that, damn.
Yeah, losing to Gary Russell, losing to Chris Colbert, that's one thing, but losing to a replacement. Who's
in a week time, ain't it? Like, dude found out about this how early? Like, this shit was like.
Yeah, it's like 9-day notice, and Lucas is 30.
This wasn't even 2 weeks.
Yeah, and Lucas is 37 years old. Like, you know, you can't. I mean, he's not a young fighter.
Yeah,
himself.
like that's the nigga literally with a podcast at Train. Like, 37 is like old. Like, come on. So
yeah, King Tug, man. Like, I mean, honestly, the best thing for King Tug he needs to do is probably run this shit back and do something like honestly, I definitely agree. I ain't got no more to say after that. Run this back. Yeah, they have to, man. And then Claudio is not the ref for that fight either. If he can't see what's going on, then he clearly doesn't need to be.
Shouldn't even be a ref. Fuck that. Like, I couldn't see. Okay, well, you can't see. Well, you're not qualified to be a ref. Get your vision fixed first.
Yeah, exactly. It's sad because the same call still existed. Because the other night I was rewatching. I be rewatching random fights. I was rewatching Tommy Hearns versus Randy Shields.
Oh, word.
Nigga, that is a random ass fight.
That's a random motherfucking fight, my nigga. And there was a moment where Randy Shields dropped Hearns, and the ref ruled it a slip, and he caught Hearns like on the side of the head, neck, and the feet didn't tangle up. It really should have been a knockdown.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Hearns ended up beating the shit out of this guy, making him quit like in the 12th round. But damn.
Yeah, that was one of them brutal ass whoopings.
Yeah, like, my God, like, imagine somebody making you fight Thomas Hearns, like, like, what punishment did you, like, what did you do to deserve that? Like, shit.
No, yeah.
But we need y'all to run this shit back, and y'all and ref stop fucking up calls. Y'all been doing this shit for like 30 some years, 40 years now.
Yeah, I know.
Same type of calls.
Man, but the co-main though, however, give us our first official fight of the year candidate. You know, with Subriel Matias and Petros Ananyan, man. And if you heard us talk about the first fight was on Wilder Fury. You know, in that case, it was an undercard, and it was a war too. And Anyanyan happened to inflict the only loss of Matias' career, and the only time Matias would actually go the distance. So pretty much they picked up round one was round 11, man. Like the phone booth shit, the inside shit was ridiculous. Like
the combos, the double left hooks and right hooks.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it was some of the most ridiculous shit, but I think the biggest flaw of the fight for Ananyan, I mean, Ananyan was strictly headhunting in the phone booth and not doing anything to the body, and I think why Matias, you know, he put some water in that basement, like, dude, you know, and honestly, I don't understand how Ananyan took all that punishment for that long before he actually did, but, you know, there was some sickening punishment, like, back and forth punishment, and you know, I think Ananyan got his nose broke kind of early. I think maybe second or third round, and then, you know, dude was getting lit up, but he was standing in the pocket with dude because in the first fight, his plan was just to make sure not to give Matias any room to breathe. You know, to keep because. But I honestly, for Matias, someone who hits as hard as he does, I don't think that was probably the smartest thing to try to do twice. And I think Matias kind of learned from that, and I think he was also better trained. There's one thing about Matias too, like, dude was throwing some straight up arm punches, and you could hear those punches. Like, dude hits hard as fuck. Like, you know,
he overwhelms you. Like, he's not the type of puncher where you want to keep getting hit on your shoulders, forearms, your body, like, you know, because, you know, he's heavy handed and he throws a lot. You know, like, you're gonna be on inside, you gotta be deflecting and blocking a lot of those shots and parrying and making them miss. Like, you know, you can't bang unless you're like, you know, a James Toney type of guy. Like, you're gonna be like how Andre Ward fought Carl Froch. You know, you gotta employ those strategies. If not, you're just getting extra punishment for no reason.
Yeah, and Ananyan wasn't rolling with no punches, wasn't, you know, trying to take him off. Like, he was doing nothing to take some of the steam off Matias' punches like that, other than, you know, try to hit him to the head. You know, and that's one of the biggest things with Matias. Like, I mean, you can hit him, but it's more or less like I hit you, you hit me type of shit like that, and see how much you last.
That's what he drags everybody into. Like he's like an athletic Margarito in a way.
Yeah, like I mean, dude is a real unicorn. Like usually most pressure volume punchers like him aren't heavy-handed like that. Like they rely on him throwing a whole bunch of hard shots, shots wear him down. But dude busts these guys up like this. It's ridiculous. And then the left hook that finally dropped the Nunyan, I think it was in the 9th round. Like his whole neck, you can see it. Like Deuce, his head snapped back like a fucking cartoon. It was like boom.
Yeah, he had that semi spin around. Like honestly, and it's funny. Shout out to Pat with the nightly knockout. He had posted the most ironic knockout he ever posted. The Danny Garcia Eric Morales rematch. Right. When Swift had KO Morales and Morales went spinning like a fucking dreidel or some shit. Yeah. Like that shit. That's what that knockdown reminded me of.
Yeah, and
he posted it recently. That's why I remember, because we had it on TikTok and everybody's like, everybody on TikTok is like, Morales would have won if he was younger. Like, yo. Like niggas is in their feelings on TikTok. Like a lot of times, like there is a boxing community on TikTok. Like definitely,
yeah, there is. And then Morales is a loved fighter, and Danny Garcia really not. So,
but the thing is, the way Morales fought him way more competitively in the first fight gives that credence though. Right. It's not like niggas is just just saying that shit out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean that was probably the last real gasp of the real Eric Morales. The one that Danny put away was old, and I think he did fail a drug test or some shit like that. There was a lot of shit going on. Yeah, so yeah, but yeah,
he popped dirty. I remember that.
Yeah, that was the first incident of the magic beef that was going on in Mexico.
Yeah. Before everybody turned it into like a platinum hit, then niggas went Gangnam Style on that shit. That shit went like diamond.
Yeah, everyone in their mother in Mexico used that excuse, man. That alone.
One on Spotify.
But Inanyan though, like the funny thing is too is like, so personally that should have been stopped right there. Like I don't know why the ref thought he could actually continue after. Like dude, like you could tell dude's eyes were vacant. Like
how refs was struggling this night. Like
it's like I mean
wasn't the ref a female too?
Yeah. This was a woman.
That's what I was like.
Yeah,
it don't matter. We gonna call it. I don't care. It was a fucking alien, nigga. Like.
Yeah, like dude,
if the ref was struggling or did some questionable shit, we gotta say it.
Yeah, no, I know. I only said that because Pat was like he, and I'm like, wait. I'm pretty sure the ref was.
Oh, that's my bad.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's true.
Yeah, and I was just like, it's like, Ananya was done. Like you can tell his eyes. Like everyone that fights Matias has this glazed look after they've taken too much punishment. Like, do you want him to die? But luckily, it was at the end of the bell.
Go wrong, like.
Yeah. And it took the doctor, and the ref was like, why am I stopping it? And the doctor had to explain to the ref why.
Yeah, because remember, it was like, follow my finger, and it's like, his eyes couldn't even follow the finger. Like,
yeah, I'm saying, like, yeah, dude, like.
Nigga beat the movement. Like, you can't even see movement because all you see is punches coming from every angle. Like, you don't even remember.
Those dudes, his eyes were Krispy Kreme glazed. He was done. There was coming back.
Yeah, it was like, do you want him to die? And in fact, they had the nerve to do that shit twice. Like the first time, I was like, he's finished. Like, dude wasn't following no finger. Like, I mean,
we gotta make sure.
Yeah, it was like
needed to make sure about that fucking knockdown in the first fight, you bastards.
Yeah.
If y'all would have had that much discretion for that, like shit. Y'all costing niggas fights and shit.
But thankfully the doctor at Atlantic City was on point tonight. She told the ref, like, this is the reason why I'm stopping this fight, because he's not following my fucking finger. That's the reason why I'm stopping this goddamn fight. And Matias, he got his revenge and he stopped him, first time.
Damn, but we need a rubber match.
I think
I thought some of you niggas gonna probably be sounding too. You fucking bloodthirsty ghouls, like y'all niggas.
That was a brutal fight, and further still,
we don't need no damn rubber match. That was it. That was it. Shit, Matias almost had him out in the first fight. We're being honest, so no, we don't need to see that shit.
Yeah, he did. You know, he did. But Matias though, like I said though, is a problem at 140. Like, dude is a legit problem. Like, you know, I mean, and honestly, and I know because he's a unicorn. Like, I mean, we all know the story. Like, the type of fight that Matias is, they eventually will get broken at some point. You know,
well, hopefully he doesn't get broken before he fights Angry Fist, because that's a whole lot of angry punches between the two of them that would happen.
Oh Lord, that fight is that's
a fight
of the year, like guaranteed.
Yeah, like
Taylor gonna have to move up eventually, because I don't think he has the gear anymore at 140, where like I think the weight is becoming an issue. And I don't think he's going to have the second gear anymore that he had for like the Ramirez and the Prograis fights. I don't think he's going to have it for the young guys like
you know, like Russell,
and Russell. Like, now's the time for him to, like, he'll be better at 147. Like, trust me. But at 140, this crop, like, he beat the last era. And he showed he beat a good era 140, but this new era 140, nah.
Yeah, like these niggas are big. Like, I mean, and although Taylor can box, you know, and Taylor does have underrated pop, you know.
Dude, you know, I'm high on.
I don't like Taylor. Taylor's a very good fighter though, but if he goes up against Angry Fist, Angry Fist will put up.
Like he's
not making it now.
About this at 140, like at 140, these guys beat. I think they beat him. If you had this fight next year and everybody's at 147, different fight.
Right.
But
on the flip side too, if Taylor does stick around and actually fights us, and God forbid actually wins, and you'd have to start talking about, you know, he'd have to be an all-time great at that weight. You know,
dude, because how many times people get to reign over two separate eras, and both eras are like dangerous, like quality?
Yeah, like 140.
That doesn't happen often.
No, it does not. You know, but I mean, honestly, but I'm with you. Like I said, Matias is right now, he's number 2 for the IBF. Like, dude is pretty much, if Taylor gives up his belt, like he's you know, he's next up to bat. Like, you know, he'll be fighting for that title. The IBF will order that shit. You know, so I mean, he's very close for a title shot. But yeah, like, dude,
there's a handful of people at 140 who I think can make noise, and they next in line for like the best. Like when the belts get splintered. Mm-hmm. Matias is definitely one of them. Montana Love is up there.
Yeah, like
I think those two, and Zepeda's another one
for sure. Yeah, like Zepeda's
those are the top 3. It might be another one. I feel like guys like Angry Fist and Darwin Price, they're like a win away.
Right, and you know,
they're right now though.
And if Teofimo obviously is serious about going to 140, then you have to put him as a player. You know,
Teofimo's already at 140. He just announced it. So he's gonna fight at 140 next. His next fight's gonna be there.
Yeah.
I'm hearing a lot of noise about Teofimo versus Barboza at 140.
And that's a great fight. You know, Barboza's, that's another one. Barboza's time is also coming.
That's a crazy good fight, actually.
For his first fight at 140, that's a hell of a fight.
Yeah. And even then, you also have someone like on the PBC, like, you know, Akhmadev, who gave Barrios fits. Like, you know, he's still lurking around. Like, 140 is a quality division. Like, you know.
Yeah. Because everybody's basically 2 fights away from a title shot, or you know what I mean? There's only like maybe one clear guy who deserves the next, and that's Zepeda, but everyone else is like maybe, you know, although Montana Love, I think he might be 1 fight away, but everybody else seem like they're 2 fights away. But there's some quality matchups that could be made. But if you're talking about Teofimo and Barboza Jr., I don't know. That might be a 50-50 fight.
It's just interesting because 140 is loaded with talent, but like I don't feel like there's a clear pecking order yet. Like nobody's separated themselves from the pack. I don't know who's gonna come out on.
Except for Zepeda might be the only one to me. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Is Zepeda? Then you can say Montana Love, and then everyone else.
But I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure about that. Like
I'm not even sure with Love, but I think for Zepeda, you could literally say Zepeda and every. I mean, look, the Baranchek win, and then the Joseph, the Vargas win. Like he's literally beaten somebody from the era he's chasing that he's a part of, and he beat somebody from the new era.
Right. So as
well as them giving Ramirez all he can handle, and just being a quality contender. Like he's the most deserving of a title shot.
No,
I want to see all of them though. Of
course, but like you can't say like no one stands out. Zepeda stands the fuck out.
I mean, no. You mean against the other crop? I'm not entirely sure. Like, and don't get me wrong, Zepeda's a hell of a fighter, and he has the resume. But it's just I'm looking at it like when I look at him. Go ahead.
No, I said you're looking at it eye test wise, like as a matchup. You're not looking at it as like as far as like a matchup, and as well as who earned it and who resume, because resume has a lot to do with it too.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm looking at it the other way around, like the eye test was.
But I'm looking at it both, like the only people I would clearly put a favorite over Zepeda would be Angry Fist. I'm talking about not besides the champion. We'll remove Josh Taylor. How many people we actually favoring over Zepeda like that?
Obviously Angry Fist. I still like Teofimo more, so I think Teofimo's going to be better at 140. So
I could see. It's like honestly, I could feel it could go both ways for me, because I feel like if he can't hurt these guys, then he's in for like wow. Because the Kambosos fight was telling.
Right.
I don't know. I get it. I just maybe this is just me. I just feel like Teofimo.
I don't think he favored like him and Zepeda's 50-50. Like it's hard for me to say he's the favorite over Zepeda. Like he lost to somebody who's less heralded than Zepeda.
And I mean at 135. At 135. I'm talking at 140.
But still, like, do you think Kambosos could move up and beat Zepeda?
I don't know.
Eye test, probably not.
Probably not.
But, I mean, I give Kambosos his respect. He's a tough fucking guy. Like he's tough.
Shit, I mean, like, imagine putting Zepeda in there with Matias. Matias would give him a whole lot of trouble and what could hurt.
That's a hard fight. But
that's what I'm saying. Like these are hard fights for Zepeda.
Like 3 people you would favor. You name 3 people you would favor over Zepeda. And even then, none of them have the resume at 140 yet. But you pick 3 people out of a stacked fucking division, and one hasn't even had a fight in 140 yet.
Yeah. I mean,
you kind of made my point. It's not like you named like 10 niggas. Like,
yeah, but like I said, I mean, 140. Yeah, 140 is just it's a monster division right now, and like right now there's at least 140. There's a clear ruler of the division, but now, you
got a clear ruler, then you got a clear who got next, and then it's like everyone else is like fighting for a piece of the top.
Yeah, and I think once if Taylor decides to actually vacate all,
look, remember you got Pedraza Ramirez.
Yeah, and then you also have Sandro Martin, who now we have to count him too, because Mikey Garcia failed,
and then Mikey takes it serious. Like you gotta, and I don't know about that one guy who fought Josh Taylor to a majority decision loss. Like I predicted,
Yeah, and then you got Brandon Lee, who punches hard as fuck too. It's like, yeah, you like these cats are out there, man. 140 is a
Teofimo moving up.
Tiafimo was Tiafimo is already ranked for one of these things. I'm like, why? He lost, like, you know, and he's ranked high too for WBC. Well, it's WBC. God knows why, you know.
Yeah, it's just crazy. But we just like moving forward. I just want to see Matias get into more fights and just keep it going, and then hopefully, his opponent recovers and we go from there. But I know y'all niggas ready to talk about this main event.
Yeah, I'll start it off, nigga. So
yeah, be my guest. Da, 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 da.
Stupid ass nigga, yo. Yeah, you know, so the main event, obviously, you know, Gary Russell Jr. and Mark Magsayo. Now, before the fight, you know, everyone, you know, pretty much everyone agreed that it was a good fight. Mark Magsayo, you know, he made his, you know, he took part of the best fight of the night on the Pacquiao Ugas card, knocking out another fade bringer, Julio Ceja, brutally. You know, after they both traded knockdowns.
In an underrated fight of the year type fight.
Yeah, you know, and Ceja, you know, that dude, yeah, if you can get dude, yeah, I don't know, that dude is taking, yeah, he's something else.
He fought with more fire that night than he fucking fought against Gary Russell. Like, that's what was missing. Like, it was yeah, I get the activity, and he was missing punches, and he was throwing a lot more, but it's different when there's a fire. Like, I don't feel like the fire was the same.
Yeah, and I think the reason why is because I think it's because in the Ceja fight, you know, Ceja was lighting Magsayo up. Like, I think that's what the reason why that's why I think, you know, and I think that was the difference. Gary was outboxing him, but he wasn't lighting dude up like that.
But there was times where he would light his ass up with like 2 and 3 fucking left hands in a row. Like, like he had some moments where he was kind of lighting up Magsayo.
And I think the reason why is because Gary was talking before that, you know, he had an injury, but he wouldn't reveal what it was. But it was in around the third round when Gary threw a right hand or a right hook that landed on dude's forehead. Dude winced and pulled his arm back, and then, you know,
his arm was hanging down. I knew right there something was wrong.
Yeah,
shoulder fight night, like round 3.
Yeah, and then after that, Gary was all Gary was doing was just keeping that right hand up to either deflect or parry. But he didn't throw no shots. So he didn't jab. Like, his jab numbers were terrible. And Gary is a jabber. You know, all Gary could do was do pot shots. So his left hand leads to the head, to the body, or double it up to the body, and then move. And then and this is where LB was talking about. Magsayo did that simple type of adjustment that Gary made. Magsayo didn't do much. Like, Magsayo didn't even try to hit that shoulder. Like usually, if you see someone's shoulder fucked up, you blast that shoulder to oblivion.
That's what I'm saying. Chris Bird would have like made that nigga like quit. Like,
yeah, and then LBU, because I know we were talking about this the other because you brought up the Cotto example. Miguel Cotto doing that shit. I think was it you or someone else I was talking to? I forget.
You talking about Canelo on Smith?
No. Miguel Cotto and was it Bronco? Somebody. I was talking to somebody about that.
Oh, you definitely was talking to somebody else.
Yeah, but you know, basically,
I remember that fight, but I'm just not remembering it. Like, wow.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Cotto, I think, you know,
old ass nigga.
Yeah, but Cotto that was the strategy that Cotto that Magsayo should use. Like, hit the shoulder until the man can't continue.
Most people always reference like Roy Jones, Harding, Smith, Canelo's recent. There's a few more, but wow, Cotto Bronco is like, wow.
Yeah.
Shit, y'all niggas talk about me with the damn Tommy Hearns versus Randy Shields, like.
Yeah, I was like, who the
fuck? That's a fucking random ass Cotto fight.
I'm saying, like, it was.
God damn, like, I thought I had the random fight take, but wow, yeah, that was random as fuck.
Yeah, but that's what Magsayo should have done, like, you know. But instead, like, I mean, he'd land like one good right hand, but then Gary's movement and defense would make it sure that he wouldn't follow up. And I think
he was jabbing with and I like that he was jabbing in at least the first half he was jabbing with
Gary, yeah.
I like that fact that he was throwing the right hand, like when Russell was opening up, like to catch Russell, like
right.
So it seemed like he had a strategy with it, but there was like no fire. And then a lot of times he got caught up in just following him, and if he wasn't throwing like 6-punch volleys and he'd land like a good left hook or something, then you know he really would have lost. Like somebody who threw less punches would lose this fight. But just off the activity, like he controlled it more.
And it wasn't like, I mean, Magsayo would land some nice right hands because Gary's left eye, like you could tell it was puffy and shit like that.
Yeah, he did land some good, like I'm not trying to say like dude never landed. He did land some quality shots now. It's just overall there was spaced out throughout the fight too. Like,
right.
Yeah, so but I don't really feel like the fight was on some like the right guy won. I don't feel like it was no close shit. Like
I didn't, only because Magsayo was fighting like I said, because Magsayo wasn't fighting aggressive. Like he was like you're supposed
passive
to
as fuck. Passive as fuck. Let's be honest about it. That was it was a I had it 116, 112 for Magsayo, but he could have made it a lot worse. Like if he put his foot on the gas, he barely beat a one-arm Gary Russell.
That's why I said he fought like the Cuban version of a Filipino fighter. Like it was like the Yugas performance. Like he saw the Pacquiao fight and he fought just like the guy who beat Pacquiao.
And he was bigger too. It wasn't like the same size. Like Magsayo was noticeably bigger than Gary. Like,
that's what I'm saying. The exact same thing. Like honestly, like you would have thought he would have buzzed Gary Russell a lot more.
Right.
Like, he didn't bully him. Like even Jojo Diaz, I felt like got more respect from like the punching than he got from Magsayo.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, it was like, and that was what was annoying me too. But like I said, no, I mean,
and he was more annoyed that Magsayo just kept coming at him. Really,
right. But one thing you have to say, like, I mean, for the fact that Gary with a torn tendon in his shoulder was able to really box up Magsayo like that, you know, it is impressive. I mean, like for all, you know, Gary does have a lot of boxing skill. You know, for all his flaws. You know, in terms of
you could make a case that he won a clear 4 or 5 rounds. Like you could say he won 5 rounds. Like you got like one arm and you're legitimately winning 5 rounds with one arm. Yeah, you would do a rematch just off that.
Yeah, and that's why I like, you know, like I had no problem with Magsayo winning, but like when his scores were announced 115, 113, I rocked it because like it can go either way, and to me it would have gone either way or even a draw even.
I'm surprised even King P has a 116, 112. Like,
yeah, I didn't think
I see that though, because there was maybe like a few swing rounds where Russell maybe was a little less effective.
Yeah, but it was one of those things where it should have been like a 117, it should have been like a 117, 111 or 118, 110. Like this should have been like domination type of shit. Like, you know.
Yeah, he needed that. Like honestly, it's the type of fight that Oscar Valdez has all the time.
Yeah, it
was a 115, 113 fight when you should have received a 117, 111 type of fight.
Yeah, exactly, and then that's things
like a more of a domination, a more like it was decisive, but I didn't see the hunger, I didn't see the determination, this like, especially fighting a younger, older guy, like
it's like come on, like
turbo fist to the tool shed.
Yeah, so and I think that was the big feeling on Twitter right now. Like, everyone agreed. Like no one was screaming robbery except ironically Gary Russell's probably the only one on there. Like, you know, for various reasons.
I won 10-2. Like sounded like some Teofimo shit.
Yeah, that one was. I was a little disappointed in Gary on that one, but yeah, Magsayo eked out a victory. Like it was one of those victories that if let's say if Gary had, you know, gets his surgery on the shoulder and has good working arms and he's actually in shape and he's, you know, Gary will probably win the rematch. But in terms of the other cats at featherweight, especially his fellow champions, I'm not confident that Magsayo will retain his belt like that. Like, I mean, dude,
not with that performance. Definitely not. If the one that shows up from the Seiya fight, yeah, it could be a problem for everybody. But
what you think about like Magsayo versus Santa Cruz?
Santa Cruz would probably beat him.
Yeah, because Santa Cruz does what we want Magsayo to do, which is be busy. Like,
yeah, exactly.
And Santa Cruz at least pumps a jab out. He mixes the right hand. He throws the body shot. Like Magsayo's like athletic and he maybe hits harder than Santa Cruz, but the punches are more like coming at you in like sporadic volleys. Like even then, it's like I'm still like, even though I picked him to win, I was looking at it more of it wasn't just off the boxing. It was more the climate, the January upset that traditionally been happening for like the last 3-4 years. The inactivity, it was a lot of factors, but I'll pat myself on the back for this one.
Yeah.
Sorry, Turbo Fist. Sorry, King Pat. Shit happens. The boxing gods is not playing with niggas. There's somebody else gonna be undefeated for a long time or been reigning for a while who's gonna take an L this year. Like, tune in next time on the next issue or next episode of Ring Gang Radio Prediction Fighter Z. Someone else is gonna take an L, and the only thing about this, the sad part about it was an L in an anticlimactic fashion.
We're not
even shitting on Gary Russell like that for this L.
Yeah, like I said, pretty much Gary owned up. Yeah, he wasn't training. His father had his foot amputated. He was training himself. Like, Gary admitted all his flaws, and
it's an L, but it's an L that you don't feel bad about. Like, you're like, I'll see a rematch. You probably win with both hands. Like, we kept it this close. Like,
but unfortunately, Gary has a lot of, there's a lot of ill will, because Gary for the most part is, he's outspoken. He says a lot of shit that niggas don't like, particularly, especially like, I go on Twitter and Devin Haney is talking shit to him, like talking about Mr. Cap took it out, but like there are fighters out there that are relieved that because they felt like he had a stranglehold on that belt, which
and fans, a lot of fans don't fucking like Gary, which is weird.
Actually,
what?
Yeah,
and media, like I've seen media tweets, fans and other boxers like rejoicing.
Yeah, because it's like because they don't like.
I seen Billy Dibb like, oh well, thank God, because Gary Russell only defended his title 6 times in 6 years. Meanwhile, a guy like Prince Nassim defended it in like 15 times that amount. Like, who the fuck asked me your opinion, Billy Dibb? You were trash.
Billy Dibb was a horrible champion at that. The fact that he actually became champion is, and he lost his belt to a late minute replacement too. On top of that. And then he couldn't even. And then he got knocked out when he tried to regain his belt from that same guy. So yeah, Billy Dibb needs to be quiet. Billy Dibb was a bum. I don't want to put it as a bum.
Just thought I said it like.
Yeah, I don't like
somebody in their feelings, man.
Well, let's put it this way, bro. The worst fight I've ever watched in my life that I had ringside seats for was this motherfucker facing Mike Oliver in Hartford. And it was arguable that he probably should have lost that fight too, and he didn't. And then, like I said, then he got knocked out by Gradovich. Trying to regain his belt. So yeah, Billy Dibb needs to be quiet. Like I need silence from that nigga, man. Like he was lucky that he actually was champion, but I need him to be quiet. Seriously.
But yeah, what's disappointing out of all of this? Like,
what's that, son?
When you talk boxing with some people you fuck with, you respect, you respect their boxing takes. But they fans of other sports, and it's like these niggas are legit call football upsets.
Oh Lord.
But you on a boxing podcast and can't call boxing upsets. Where the fuck they do that?
Well, football has a lot of other fuckery that's involved.
And boxing don't like.
Football has different fuckery. Football has like I said. I mean, no one saw the upsets that happened. Yes, or no. I know P was like, P was.
Yeah, I called the Bengals. I said the Bengals would be the upset, but we're not going to talk about football now. So.
Yeah.
y'all niggas is sounding like on Twitter. Y'all niggas are sounding mad. Like like y'all niggas know what's going on. Like y'all could commentate on Techno Bowl or some shit. Like, yeah, y'all niggas just sounding like y'all knew what was up. Like y'all could be on NFL Blitz or some shit. Like, but y'all main bread and butter, like y'all niggas is up here like, yeah, man, Gary Russell gonna outbox him.
Nigga, let's put it this way. I mean, this was the fight that if Gary, like I said, arguably won 5 rounds with one arm. And my thing during the fight when I was tweeting during the fight is like, Gary got at least hurt this guy at least, so the judges are not thinking like, won't like judge a swing round again.
I mean, I agree with you, but at the end of the day, one of us had to be right and one of us had to be wrong.
I mean, this was before that we realized like this nigga was talking about injuries and shit like that because like I said,
of course, this was before all of that. Because I mean, remember, I'm not a Turbo Fist fan. I don't keep up with like Sonic the Hedgehog news and shit. Like I don't I don't read the Emerald City Daily and shit, nigga.
Yeah, you have to make
Lord.
I don't know how many rings this motherfucker ran around and got in the gym, nigga.
Like pretty much like how I don't like Danny Garcia is the way this nigga doesn't like Gary Russell. Like pretty much.
No. I fucks with Gary. Like don't say that now. It's way different. Like even King P will tell you that. Like nah, I give Gary Russell his due. It just. I be objective with it, but like you legit be hating. Like
no, I don't. I legit break down and surprise, some of it comes true. And now look at him now. Like he's finding out.
Gary Russell his props. Like
this nigga say he's fighting out 154. I ain't heard no 154 fight ordered yet. It's 2022. Like what does he do?
I mean, this nigga Danny Garcia, he chilling, man. 154 is just too deadly to just jump in there on some half-ass shit. So he taking his time.
I mean,
there's no rush. He's at his career pretty much.
Yeah, like I said, no, yeah, he was supposed to do this shit. The shit he was supposed to do at welterweight to strengthen whatever credentials.
And like who? And I'm a Danny Garcia fan. Who do you favor at 154? That's a player. Like who does you favor Danny Garcia to beat at 154?
Like we talked about this.
Tony Harrison.
Yeah, I said Tony Harrison. Yeah, Tony Harrison was what because. Tony Harrison is kind of disappointing me lately. Like, dude,
at this point, I think he could beat J-Rock.
That's also true.
True. But even then, that's neither one of those fights are fights that you have the utmost confidence in. Like, there's still like 60-40 fights. Let's be honest. Even a Goucher is a 60-40 fight.
Yeah, Goucher is actually pretty tough though. That's the thing. Like,
yeah. All those niggas is pretty tough. Like, this is Danny Garcia.
At 154, it'll come down to stylistic matchups. So, like, I don't know.
If Danny Garcia is not going to fight with the determination he had in the Spence fight, where he's throwing 700 some punches, then he loses to all those niggas. Mm-hmm. And remember, we've seen Brian Perella beat Harrison and Brian Perella. Like do you think like he'd probably do something similar to Swift?
And that's horrible. And this is a Perella that got knocked out by Abel Ramos at 147. Like Perella is not all that,
that's the sad part. But look, we're like all I'm at the end of the day. Like even if Danny moved up and beat Tony Harrison, does that make him get a title shot? Is that enough for a title shot?
Probably not. But PBC will probably make it that way.
And even then, a Tony Harrison win ain't some foregone conclusion. That's still a tough fight.
Yeah, I mean, 154. It's different. Yeah, styles make fights at 154, but like I said, Danny, time is not on his side. Like either
I doubt that would happen. They too Philly niggas. Like
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm pretty sure they probably have sparred before. I'm pretty sure there's parts of shit.
I think both deserve a big Philly fight, but it's like
I think J-Rock needs to find his way after losing to Vladimir Hernandez. Like, I don't know what that shit was all about, but J-Rock needs to look at himself and like figure if he still wants to be boxing, because that was a disappointing loss. That was at
160 or 154.
Yeah, I still can't explain how he lost the way he did. Like,
I'm saying, was that at 154 or 160?
I think it was at 154.
Yes, it's probably time to go to 160 then.
Yeah, because you can't be ruining, like, you know, Hernandez is a good fighter, but you're a former world champion. Like, you know, you can't be like getting knocked around, almost knocked out like you did. Like, yeah, that wasn't cool. Like, I didn't like watching him take that type of beating in his comeback fight of all things after surgeries and shit. But yeah, 154 is a different animal, like, altogether, man. And
it seems like damn underdog season still in effect though. But
to circle back to like the title fight, I mean Gary is 33. Like, I mean he's still technically in prime, but his body might be starting to break down. Although he mentioned that shoulder was an issue since his Olympic days. Even before his Olympic days, he just never got the surgery on it. You know, he just did the shoulder strengthening exercises or whatnot.
Which is the amount of time he's been out of the ring, he could have damn had the surgery and recovered by now.
And you know what? I can't even argue with that. I can't argue with that at all. Like, I seriously can't. You know, because one thing about shoulders, man, for boxers, like, you know, shoulders is not something you want to work through. Like, if you have a shoulder problem, you can hold up for all you want, but eventually you either get a minor surgery or you get a shoulder replacement. Like, that's what happens. The shoulder.
At the end of the day, man, look, you could only hold off doing cortisone shots and little bullshit and therapy. You're gonna eventually have to do the surgery if you want to get some type of permanent fix.
Right.
And like if you're in the era where you're fighting once every fucking full moon, every winter solstice, you know, then just take the gamble and fucking just do the surgery. Because this whole waiting it out and drinking herbal tea and listening to the OJs on Tuesday night raining and all this other mystical, magical, The Gathering shit, you know, that ain't really solving shit.
Yeah, no, like, you got, like,
especially when you're getting older, like, the fuck.
Yeah, and truthfully, if Gary had gotten that shit when he started out, he might, his career might have been a little different. But yeah, you know, at 32, 33, I think he turns 34 this year or something like that. Yeah, you gotta get that surgery done now, or you're gonna end up with a non-jabbing ass arm, you know.
Or you may just semi-retire or whatever, or don't take certain fights. You know, there's a reason. You know, Manuel Stewart didn't. You know, they were saying how Vernon Forrest, you know, didn't take that Teddy Reed fight. You know,
yeah,
his shoulder. Like, you say what you want about Teddy Reed, but Teddy Reed's a hard fight. You just don't run over. If Teddy Reed's a dangerous, hard fight.
Yeah, you need two working shoulders, and that was the thing.
Yeah, I don't care how good you are. Like, you know, you could be fucking Sugar Ray Leonard. You need both shoulders for Teddy Reed. Like,
right, yeah, shoulders. So I mean, so that's why we hope that Gary at least this time, you know, gets the surgery, and then, you know, and at least and then falls up on this plan to actually try to. Well, if he gets the surgery, he's going to be out for at least 6 months or so, give or take, depending on what the surgery is. I mean, right now it sounds like it's a minor thing for him to fix. But he got to do it now if he wants to actually get in another fight this year, like he says, like he wants to, or fight 2 more times this year, like he said he wants to.
Yeah, don't hold your breath.
Yeah, but Magsayo, though, like I said, I mean, he won the fight. You know, kudos to him. Like, there's no robbery, no foul play, none of that bullshit aside. Like, he won the fight legit.
He won, but he ain't win.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he basically did enough to it. He did the bare minimum for.
Yeah, if we're talking about January upsets, his was the most unimpressive one. His was the least impressive January upset. Like Plant versus Ugateki, Uzi was was more impressive. Marcus Brown versus Bottle Jack, more impressive. Rosario over J-Rock, more impressive. How many Januaries I gotta go back? Like that was like the last 3, right?
Yeah.
Castaño Lara was in March, right?
Yeah, it wasn't in January.
The fuck was it? No, wait, I think I got that one. Okay, I can't remember what was January 2018.
I can't. I mean, there was. I think. I can't remember what the upsets were in that year. But I mean,
19, 20, 20. Yeah, like I've had them. I've nailed the last 3, right? Like, yeah, this one was like the least impressive, but it was still decisive. It was clear, but you could win and don't, wow niggas,
Right, and Magsayo, like, hopefully whoever Manny Pacquiao puts in front of him, like, as far as we know, we don't know if there's a rematch clause yet, but I think if there is, it probably
deserve one. Where's Eddie Hearn when you need him? Yeah.
It all depends on either if Gary wants to, Gary wants to run him back or get the surgery.
It wasn't a bad fight, like honestly, like.
No, I like the fight. It wasn't a bad fight,
especially for one-handed fights. It was probably the most entertaining one-handed fight that I've seen in years. Because there's been some flat-out boring, like way worse.
Yeah, one-handed fighter.
Is adamant.
Oh, my analogy. One-hand fighter. Not even. Yeah, so that type of shit. So, but yeah, I like the whole card overall was damn good. Like it was one of the, on a pretty slow month for boxing as it is. Like it was, it was a spectacular card. But like I said, it was one of those cards. It wasn't really marketed as such. They upped it like probably within the week. We have Travis Singh. Didn't see the fight. Who won? If you talk about the main event, Mark Magsayo won the fight. He won the fight. He's the new featherweight champion.
What would it do, Travis?
Yeah, and salute Travis for. I think it might be the first time I've actually seen you show up in our comments. So salute to you on that for listening. But yeah, no, Mark Magsayo, he beat Gary Russell by a majority decision, 115, 113, 2, times 2, and then a 114 draw, 114 draw. So. It was a really good card. It was a card basically if you are hardcore, you love this card, but it's one of those cards that you wish that got a little bit more attention. So at least a casual that might have come in like, oh, so what's this all about? Because it was
it's not fully back into the year yet. Like this is the card that's gonna it's slowly waking everybody up, but I don't think everybody's gonna be back into the Thurman fight. The Thurman was gonna make everybody be like, okay, boxing is officially back.
Right.
Now everybody's kind of waking up and turning around, and they got that one eyebrow up. They're like, hold on, boxing boy, upset. Hold on, like they're like turning the music down. They're lowering the music down right now. But when the Thurman fight happened, that's when people shut the music off, and they're like, hold on, wait, what's going on?
Yeah. Yeah,
it's cool. It happens like that shit. At least boxing starting in February. We've had it where fucking boxing didn't start till damn April.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and funny things too. Yeah. We've had some years that we've had some poor years where that was
nothing's going on. Like that shit's just like
yeah. But if you haven't seen the Showtime card, it's definitely all 3 fights are worth a watch, man. Like you definitely go check that out. For sure, man. Like like I said, it may not get the sexy ratings that a lot of cards be getting and whatnot. No, but doesn't matter. Ratings does not equal quality sometimes. Like sometimes
it's significant though.
Yeah, it's significant because it especially for featherweight division, it just might be because like I said, the featherweight division for them has been stagnated for a little bit. It
was a win sponsored by the boxing gods.
Yeah, facts.
It's like it's one of those like when Tex Cobb lost to Holmes and what's his name retires after that.
Howard
Mark Albert
because he couldn't take the brutality anymore.
Yeah, the dude is like, yeah, that was his biggest achievement. Oh man, him just winning the belt off of Gary Russell, this the inactivity. That's what niggas is like. Thank you, like.
Yeah, because like I said, I mean, I'm a Gary Russell fan. Like I support all the Russells and everything like that. You know, I think they're all quality talents. But yeah, I mean, even though I myself was frustrated just seeing Gary, you know, not fighting once a year. Because keep in mind, 2014 was the last time he actually fought more than once a year, and he fought 3 times that year. You know, so it's like, yeah, it was time. You know, it was. So like, I just hope that Gary can rebuild his career, so people actually remember him for the talent that he is, you know, and not necessarily for the BS, you know. And Magsayo, we hope that he does learn from this fight and actually improve, and knowing that, you know what, people need to see you as champion. You better win your fights as champion. Like, don't leave it up to chance to let someone, you know, steal the belt from you, you know. But yeah.
But you got to remember, I mean, Groundhog's Day. Like, that's not one of the more popular holidays, so it is. Maybe if it moved up to like Halloween or like Easter, one of the second tier holidays.
Right.
Right now, it's like it's there with like Father's Day or some shit, which is fucked up. But I'm just saying.
Yeah. Oh man, but also too that we also